Blake Noah Williams, and I'm a student of Diamond Creek Elementary School. And this is my first time speaking in a board meeting and my first time going to one. And I just wanted to say that I really would like to see people's faces again. And also one time when I tried not to wear a mask at school, it wasn't my teacher who was, or any grown-ups who was telling me to put on my mask. It was my friends and classmates. So that's all that I wanted to say.
All the students, I'd like to hear from as many as possible. If you could please keep your any noise in the background quiet so we can hear our speakers. Thank you. What was your name, please? Can you put the mic to your phone?
Hi, my name is Addison Medina and I go to Kirby Elementary. And I don't think we should be wearing masks anymore. Because we don't wear masks in grocery stores or fast food restaurants, so why do we wear them in schools? Is that the only place we can get COVID? We don't wear masks at lunch, recess, or even at PE. And we don't have to stand within 6 feet apart from each other. We can give each other hugs and talk sitting right next to each other, so why are we still wearing masks in schools? This last Friday, my 5th grade teacher, Miss Reese, made a new rule. If you are reminded to wear your mask over your nose twice, you're not allowed to go out to first recess. And 2 warnings, you don't get second recess. And another 2, you miss walk and talk the next day. How is that fair? Our governor was even photographed at the NFC Championship game not wearing a mask. So since he's supposed to be a leader of the state, he must have a 0% chance of getting COVID. The last thing I want to say is, do masks even help? No. People wear masks and wash their hands and sanitize, yet still get COVID. So, at the end of the day, it doesn't really help. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Naomi Rocco, and I am a 6th grader at High. Thank you for scheduling this meeting. It's important that the board elected to represent the students and serve the families in our district also take time to listen, not just hear the students. I believe in choice. If a person wants to wear a mask, they should. If they don't want to wear a mask, they should not be forced to. I feel the effects of wearing a mask every day. I get headaches and dizzy after 3rd period and into 4th. I can't focus, and they're a distraction to my learning, constantly having to pull them up. I can't even hear my teachers. In addition, I am discriminated and shamed against when I take my mask breaks. I urge you to follow the resolution approved in our high school district. My brother has a choice. Why don't I? You may discard what you have listened to today. There will come a time where our voices will be too loud to ignore anymore. Mass choice for all ages. No strings attached, no testing, no shots. Yes for smiles. Yes for fresh air. Yes for dignity and my health. My name is Naomi Rocco, and I support mass choice. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Devin Pryor. This is my brother, Jared Pryor. You might have heard of us. We led the mask choice protest at Ike Middle School last week. I would like to tell you what it's like to be a student and have to wear a mask every day since November 2020. In 5th grade, all students had to wear a mask inside and outside while at school. I couldn't see or recognize my friends' faces. I couldn't get close to my friends. I couldn't hear my teachers clearly enough, and I have a difficult time speaking through a mask as well. When I started 6th grade at Ike, I was finally allowed some freedom to not wear a mask outside. It was so nice to be able to breathe fresh air while at lunch. It has been very long for me to meet new friends, but because I can't recognize my classmates when we are outside because their faces are covered up and during class. Almost every day for a year, I was told by my teachers to fix my mask and make sure it covers my mouth and nose, or I would be in trouble. Last week, my brother and I chose to stop wearing masks to school because we were sick of kids being forced to wear them, and we are tired of wearing them for 6 to 7 hours a day. Because of our choice, our teachers told us to go to the library and do our work on our Chromebooks. The library felt like detention.
Can you finish up, please? Thanks.
We couldn't talk to any of our friends, not even to work together on class assignments. We couldn't eat or drink until lunch. We also couldn't go back to our classrooms unless we agreed to wear a mask. The mask made us so tired that I would suddenly start falling asleep in class, and I would get in trouble for that too. The worst part is that I started getting eczema on my face that would get inflamed all around my mouth. It would get chapped and bumpy. It is painful and embarrassing. I'm done allowing this to happen to me. I won't wear them anymore. I want masks to be optional, and you should too.
And I go to Orchard Ranch Elementary. I'm just going to say that masks don't work, and they really don't, because if they did work, then how come I got sick a few months ago? This is America. We deserve mass choice. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you want to get the vaccine, but we deserve choice. I want to sit with my friends with choice and not be forced to sit in the back of a classroom with a glass wall in front of me. So, I just want mass choice. Thank you.
She has my card over there. Thank you. Hi, I'm Whitney Steer. I am a sophomore at Wood Creek High School, where the mask mandate has been lifted for about a week now. First, I would like to thank the board for calling an emergency meeting. We are so grateful you are allowing us the chance to speak. It means a lot. Personally, I would consider myself to be a good, attentive, and engaged student. But was extremely difficult to be engaged and follow along when everyone in the room has a mask on. Often I had to ask the teacher to repeat themselves because I zoned out. Before masks, I never had problems with my engagement. So I can't imagine what it's like for all of my fellow younger students to deal with this. We already know younger kids have a shorter attention span, so how do you think masks have affected their engagement in class? You can ask any teacher and they will tell you. Their eyes are downcast, hoods on, blank faces. It is too hard to ask a question when you have been lost for the past 15 minutes. This is where they give up, tune out, and completely disengage. And who can blame them when they haven't had a normal school year in 3 whole years? It takes an unfathomable toll to be surrounded by masked, expressionless, deadpan faces. Humans need social interaction, and ever since my district has implemented mask choice, there is a new light in my fellow students' faces. We smile to each other, we laugh, we giggle, we hug, we make jokes. True happiness is returning. The joy of learning is coming back. I can see it. So I ask you now to picture a kindergartner. They have just sang the alphabet all by themselves for the first time. They turn to their teacher with a gleaming smile, and the most they get is squinty eyes and muffled words.
Thank you, Wendy. Can you finish up, please?
I'm on my last paragraph. Our kids don't deserve the best, most carefree years of their lives stolen away by a mask mandate. Thank you.
the next person though that's on deck, just so you can get ready. And again, if you heard your viewpoint expressed, please don't feel a need to continue for the entire minute and a half. Okay, first we have Deborah Ortiz, and that will be followed by Lisa Schreider. And please be respectful to our speakers.
Hi, I just wanted to say that the district has done very well through COVID because of the loyalty of their staff and their teachers. And we've spent countless hours, I know both CSEA and RTA, working with the district, building a relationship. We've done so many MOUs, and in every one of our MOUs for COVID, it said that we would follow the guidelines. So the foundation of any relationship is built on trust. And so we have trusted that you guys would honor that. So if you go ahead and break trust with us, I fear we're human and it's going to be hard to get back to the place where we were before. We can forgive, but I can be honest, it's hard to forget because trust is important. So just, I want you to consider that.
Thank you. Lisa Schreider, followed by
Hi. Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Lisa Schreider, and I'm representing the Roseville Teachers Association. We respect the difficult situation you guys are in. We wish we could stand right with you in celebrating the end of the mask mandate, but unfortunately we can't. As you can see, I'm wearing a mask. I toyed with it, but this is the whole foundation of why I'm up here. There are students present here in an educational setting. And for us as teachers, we're like the only ones who, if the boards get rid of this, we're still on the hook. Ed Code 4421 follows laws, it says follows laws by virtue of their credential and employment by the district regardless of their opinion. We could be in jeopardy of losing our credentials if we don't follow the law.
please respect the speaker.
As much as we don't want it to be a temporary law, it still is until they revisit it on the 28th. We also have a standing COVID MOU with you guys from 2021-2022 that says we will follow all state, federal, local, county guideline mandates and requirements, which also can lead to a grievance because we have not changed that. We have not gone back to the table for that. I understand that we've had protesting parents. I'm an Ike. I completely get that. But if this allows us to break this rule, then what about protesting staff members? Because how can you break one law and still uphold the other one for OSHA? And you can't say it's a requirement of our employment, because it is still a requirement of coming to school to be able to wear masks. We don't want to be in this situation. It's mind-boggling that tomorrow we have to wake up and make the decision between educating our kids who we love so much, educating our kids who we want to be with. We don't want to have to be hiding behind masks either. But we don't want to also have to break the law and possibly put our credential in jeopardy.
Please respect the speaker. Thank you, Lisa. Please respect the speakers. Nicole Jordan will be followed by Cassandra Stevens.
Good afternoon, my name is Nicole Jordan, and I have the honor of teaching second grade at Catherine Hicks Elementary School, and I'm also the RTA lead negotiator. Thank you for your time and commitment to the Roseville City School District students and staff, and for allowing me this time to address the board today. I understand the decision you are faced with today is both conflicting and difficult. While I see why you would vote to adjust the language of the mask mandate, as the RTA lead negotiator, I would like to refer you to the language of our current COVID MOU for 21-22 this school year that will be opening you up to a district issue. Significantly, our MOU states, number one, the district will follow current federal, state, county, and local mandates required related to staff and student safety, including response to staff or student illness. Further, please take into consideration these points from our CTA representative. Ed Code 44421 requires teachers to follow the law by virtue of their credential and employment with the district, regardless of how one might feel about masks or the governor. Number two, the state mandate currently in place is a temporary law. The district has no authority to lift a state mandate. Either the teacher must enforce it or have an administrator come enforce it. Number three, nothing in the law requires choosing between education or exclusion. Number 4, if the board passes something that is not in compliance with the law, teachers will be put in a place where they have to decide to defy the law and put their credential at risk to comply with the law. The district has no authority to waive a teacher's responsibility under the law and has no control over CTC.
Thank you, Nicole. Can you please wrap up?
Yes.
Next is Cassandra Stevens, followed by Sue Franklin.
Hi everyone, my name is Cassandra Stevens. By the way, it's not a law, which is why Roseville Joint Union High School District was able to pass that. Educating our kids, and you preach that was law. It's not true. So both of my kids actually have mask exemptions, and I'm going to tell 2 stories of how they both have been treated like they are diseased, sick animals because they don't have masks. My daughter in 6th grade was told if you want to participate in group activities, you have to put on a mask. Out of habit, because we don't ever wear a mask anywhere we go, my daughter got up to work with her classmates, and the teacher screamed at her and told her, you belong in the corner. I told you, if you want to work with your friends, you have to put on a mask. Go sit in the corner. My son, who's a high school student, he was refused lunch 3 days in a row because the lunch lady refused to listen to him when he said, I have a mask exemption. So he went 3 days without lunch because this lady refused to go, one, to the office to find out if he did have a mask exemption. She didn't bother with that, she just refused to serve him lunch. Well, kids are doing the same thing. Kids are treating my kids like they have a disease, like something is wrong with them, because the adults, the authorities, the school boards are condoning this, and it's not the law. So if you guys want to end discrimination and the segregation and all of that, you need to stand up for mass choice and support these kids, and that's it. End it. It's over.
Followed by Letitia Sherman.
I don't have anything planned. I've been driving for 4.5 hours to get here, but I do want to address this teachers union that's trying to hold something over your head. You guys don't work for the teachers union. You don't work for the teachers. You work for the students and the parents. They elected you. For them. And I'm sorry that Mr. Garcia talked you all into voting and getting a lot of money, or not voting, but taking this money to keep the kids masked. It's not okay. And their health, their education, the bullying from the teachers of pull up the mask, go sit over there. It's not all right. And I think you guys all know that it's not all right. Rob, you're not smiling at me this time. You don't have your mask on. And it's very interesting. Well, he did. He laughed at my last time I was up here talking. And I was very offended by it. Because as parents, we're all very passionate for their children. I don't have any children in this school district. I live here. I work for your school district. I had children that went through this. I am here representing every single child in your 19 schools in your district, and you got billions, millions of dollars to take them in.
Thank you. Followed by Jonathan Dickinson.
I said a prayer for each one of you, by the way, but you will be you'll be judged in the highest court of all. As elected board members, you are charged with fiduciary duties to all your students and an obligation to responsive to the families who elected you, except you, Dirk. You were never elected in your office. You are charged with protecting and educating socially well-developed, critically thinking, well-functioning members of society and district schools. not broken, compliant servants of special interest. You also know that while the CDPH requires that every district have a mask policy, the contours of such policy are up to you. And ultimately, as the governing board of your district, you will be each held personally responsible for any harmful policies that you have inflicted on the children, of which you are on ample notice as of last month. Do you remember me? You need to consider whether the continued masking of children 6 to 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, is being done to serve their best interests or to satisfy conflicting political, financial, or other ends. I wish you guys well, and I hope you make a good decision.
Legally served, right here and now.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
My name's Jonathan Zackerson. We work together. I want to thank you guys for all the work that you've done for opening schools. You guys were a leader at that in November of 2020, and this is a time to be a leader again. So we know the threats that are out there. We know that they're not real. So I'd ask that when you come to the decision today, really do a good job at countering some of that misinformation that's being spread that really puts those teachers who want mass choice but have those concerns, put their concerns at ease. Like I said, this is a time to lead. My son is now in high school. He's able to go to school. The teachers are fine. The students are fine. And 90% of the kids have chosen to not wear a mask. 10% of the kids have, and everybody's happy. They're in the classroom learning. There's no bullying. There's no issues. There's no disruption. They're getting education because of their choices. So just ask that Roseville City follows suit and does the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Debbie here? Oh, Debbie Lowe, followed by Nicole Guillaume.
Good afternoon. Well, I've been here before. I'm sure you all know me. Megan is nice enough to respond to my email. Rob actually responded to my email for the very first time, and Alyssa has responded to several of my emails, so I do appreciate that. What I don't appreciate is the canned, obviously, email that went out to several other parents, probably hundreds by now. So, I will say this once, and I'm not going to say it again because everybody else has already said it. But first of all, the Roseville Teachers Association doesn't represent every single teacher out there. I have talked to many teachers, because I volunteer in my son's class, that do not want the mask mandate. I'm not here for my 3 boys because they have exemptions. You know why they have exemptions? Because since the beginning of the year, since the middle of last year, all 3 of them are seeking mental help because of what they've gone through. My youngest boy in particular, who is on the autism spectrum, who has been receiving ABA services since he was 3, has learned how to read facial cues. You've taken that away from him. I've told you that before. You've taken that away from him. Other kids learn the same way. It's not just him. It was harder for him to learn that. That's gone. He went to school last week for the first time without a mask. For the first time, he told me, I want to go to school today. For the very first time. There's been days where I have not been able to even get him out of bed to go to school.
Thank you, Debbie. Can you wrap up your comments?
I'm not done.
I'm
I'm going to have to ask you to wrap up your comments, please.
You didn't ask the Teachers Association.
I would just like to reiterate, it is a mandate, not a law, and I'm not here for just pro-choice on masks. I'm here, I'm pro-choice for everything. In the mandates, don't you dare think you're going to get my children to get that vaccine.
The extra noise. Nicole Guillaume, followed by Isabella Parkinson. Thank you.
Hi guys. So, I'm sure this board is probably tired of hearing from me, but I'm tired too. I'm tired of showing up to these meetings and begging for a board that was elected by us to care for our children to the best of their ability. I don't trust my kids with you or any health department or teachers unions or associations or elected officials. You chose to weaponize our kids and take money in exchange for their well-being. I will never forgive you for that. You have suffocated my children's faces who both have epilepsy. My son has had many EEGs to find out what's going on with these headaches. Is it epilepsy related? No, it's mask related. I have come to every meeting and expressed that you can make anything happen if you really want it. That you can make a difference and affect change. I have heard nothing but cop-outs and excuses for your inaction, which has spoken volumes. You stare at us with blank faces, much like you are right now, and almost no compassion in your heart. You reply with worthless template emails brushing us off. We have cited laws, rules, and education codes that are being broken and that have just been blown off. The truth is, you have the power all along, you just refuse to take a stand. You refuse to protect and serve the families and students that you pledged an oath to. Many laws have been broken over the last 2 years. Nobody seems to care. Many guidelines and guidance have been forced upon these kids as if it's law. It is not law. It is a tyrannical government forcing their narrative upon us. Everyone has been brainwashed and put under psychosis, and for that we have all suffered. My family comes from Cuba, and if you want to compare America to Cuba's communist country, I will gladly give you my dad's telephone number if you'd like to chat. I'm sickened over these last 2 years that our least vulnerable, our most prized possessions have been robbed of childhood time they can never get back. I'm demanding mask choice with no strings attached. That's mask choice, not being stuck in the back of the classroom with plexiglass around them. The high school district has done it, which means you can too. Parents, stop complying. Unmask our kids. Let's go, Brandy.
Keep the noise down so we can move quickly. Isabel Parkinson, followed by Brandy Brownson.
Isabel went already.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Brandy Bronson, followed by Nancy Glensor.
Hi there, I emailed you 7 months ago letting you know that I was pulling my child out of Fitiment Farm Elementary. Sadly enough, my email to you and the grievances in it are just as germane this afternoon, so I will read you a portion of it. As with many other moms, I have been pushed out of public school because you have failed to allow us the choice on how to personally deal with COVID-19. I have repeatedly asked for the science to back up the mask mandate for young children, but have received no thoughtful response. I have plenty of data to prove masks harm our children physically, emotionally, socially, and psychologically, but am shouted down and censored. Did you know a child is more likely to be struck by lightning than to die of COVID-19? Did you know that a majority of children have already had the virus and have natural immunity? I wonder what the long-term effects are when we make a population of young, healthy people act as though they are sick and contagious. I understand you all receive immense pressure from the CDPH to step in line with COVID regulations, but your lack of defiance to this overreach prove that liability and funding are more important than our children and their social and emotional development. The issues we face as a community in Roseville are not the same as in LA, yet we have mirrored every policy across the state. You are now merely an extension of the state. You are okay with having no real power. You guys basically have no real voice. Even if you agree with the state's position on forcing children to wear masks, you have relinquished all power, and soon you'll be powerless to a future mandate that you don't agree with. I guess we don't even need school boards anymore. You now have set a precedent in which those in authority abdicate their responsibilities under the pretense that they are powerless to protect their constituents. Once the dust has settled on this highly politicized climate we are living through, and the religion of public health, because it is a religion, has been entirely delegitimized and shown for the fraud that it is, we will look back in horror at what we subjected our smallest members of society to.
Thank you.
I refuse to sacrifice my children on the altar of the courts of public health. Give us back our medical autonomy. Thank you.
And my grandchildren go to Catherine Gates, and they're very young. My youngest is in kindergarten, and the other one is in 2nd grade. And I would just like to say that their quality of education has been robbed. Catherine Gates is a very good school. They have great teachers, great staff, but in some cases with the mask, it's become a power play where they're constantly telling the children, you must wear this mask or you're going to be punished. It's not fair for young children to have to put up with this. And like these people are saying, it's a mandate. Governor Newsom doesn't even follow his own mandate. People go to the Super Bowl, there's 70,000 people there, they're not even wearing a mask. We all know at this point it's no longer needed, it's a joke. And little children don't usually come down with the virus, and if they do, it's more like a cold and they get over it. So let's just end this and be civilized and normal again.
Thank you. Are you Brandy? Oh, has Brandy spoken? Or is Brandy, okay. Okay, perfect. Welcome.
My name is Deanna Ponsetti, and I'm a teacher here in RCSD. I really don't like being put in a situation as an employee of the district, given how political that this has become. It's really uncomfortable. That I went into teaching 20 years ago to build relationships and to teach children. I truly respect everyone's differing opinion on this matter. I wish everybody could have that same respect. We need a solution. I don't know what that is. That's up for you to decide. I know what I hope it is, and I know the tough position you guys are in. I need my admin staff to be able to do their job as admin. I need my counselors to be available to counsel students and offer support. Right now, we're running like a triage unit with students protesting, just disruptions to the class day, and it's really gotten just crazy. This whole situation is unfortunate. My intention is not to offend parents with differing views or colleagues, but my intention is to build relationships and have all my students present in my class. That is what I want. I appreciate the board's support to make that happen. Thank you.
Followed by Emily Phillips.
Addison's already gone.
Perfect, thank you. Emily, followed by, go ahead.
I'm here speaking today as a mom, advocate, and spokesperson for my children. I can no longer sit by and watch my 2 kids live like this. Enough is enough. My family moved here over a year and a half ago, and as a young child, it's already hard enough when you move a new area to find friends. But with masks and COVID, it was very difficult to say the least. Having to hide 75% of their faces, take away all opportunities to socialize and meet people, like rallies, games, team building, to the extent that last year, they couldn't even have lunch. They had to stand and eat 6 feet apart. How can a child meet people when they're literally forced to hide and distance? Masks put walls between classmates. It caused anxiety and depression, and so many kids and anxiety in my son, who has it now. My daughter's class has a student in charge of mask patrol. They basically bully kids and harass them to keep their masks above their nose. It is stressful, and my daughter talks about it all the time, and it breaks my heart seeing her so stressed out that one of her classmates is going to tell on her because she doesn't have her mask up over her nose. It's also sad, and it teaches our kids to tell on one another and makes others feel shamed. Why would our schools do this? My daughter's school also allows 4 kids to a table at lunchtime. That makes it so sometimes kids have to eat alone if they're the 5th person, which guess what? My kid is, because they're the new child. So she eats alone without her friends. Again, that breaks my heart, and I see it in her, and it's just, as a mom, it's just a disservice for kids. And why pre-COVID did it not matter if people had flu and went to school? It's actually deadlier than COVID. Did you know that? In December, my family got COVID. My son and I had mild flu symptoms. My daughter, 5th grade, no symptoms at all, and my husband didn't even get it. But yet kids are forced to wear masks to protect themselves. My daughter wanted me to let you guys know that it's not fair older kids don't have to wear masks because they are more affected by COVID. And from what she has learned, younger kids aren't. She also says during school the masks get wet, it's hard to breathe,
comments, thank you.
And she gets headaches. I see her get headaches all the time, and she's tired, and she's 5th grade, and she should not have to take a nap because she's exhausted.
Thank you, thank you. Emily Phillips, followed by Eric Meyer. I'm sorry, Emily. Eric? Followed by Gus Murphy, thank you.
My name is Eric Meyer and I have 2 children who attend Junction Elementary School. Last week, my wife received a phone call from the principal of Junction Elementary. Our 7-year-old daughter was currently in the office and refusing to put a mask on. Our daughter had told her teacher that the mask was beginning to hurt, she was having a hard time breathing, and would no longer wear the mask in the classroom. After my daughter spoke to my wife and told her that she couldn't wear it anymore, we were told that we had to come pick her up and she would no longer be allowed in the classroom. Keep in mind, the high school is less than a mile away and does not enforce these masks, and certain teachers within Junction do not enforce them as well. There's zero consistency with mask mandates, and we are done trying to explain to our kids that you don't have to wear them out and about to a Super Bowl, to friends, to neighborhoods, or have to wear them around town. But to school, you have to. Even a 7-year-old, that doesn't make sense. As I was walking in to get my brave and resilient daughter from school, the first words out of her mouth was, "I'm sorry." No. Our kids love school. They love their teachers, they love to learn, they love to see their friends. And because she was asked to remove her mask out of discomfort, she was denied that. And she was the one who felt the need to say sorry? Absolutely not. Our daughter has nothing to be sorry for, and neither does each and every student who is here that decides to choose freedom for their body. They are the ones who deserve an apology. It was stated that my daughter had a choice. A choice, by definition, is the act of selecting or making a decision when faced with 2 or more possibilities on which is best. Her choice was what? Comply or you're wrong, do as we say or leave, mask up or stay home. Taking things away from people until they say yes is not a choice. That's an ultimatum, that's dictatorship, some might even consider it bullying. And on Friday, my daughter stood up to bullying.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It takes courage to do what's
Next
right.
up is Gus Murphy.
It takes
Thank you,
honor
sir.
to follow the oath when holding your position of office. But that's what we're asking of you two today.
Eric, please, thank you. Finish up, please.
I will. I'm on the last paragraph.
Okay.
We don't want to wait 2 weeks for a decision to be made. We're done with our kids being the center of the unconstitutional, money-driven mandates. Surrounding school districts and individuals such as El Dorado, Folsom, Oak Ridge, Nevada, and even our own Roseville High School have lifted these. It's time to follow suit. My daughter was the one who said that she was sorry. If you keep these policies in place, continue to force us to wear masks, and refuse to allow our children the rights, the freedoms, the education, the community with their friends, then I think you're the one that owes her an apology.
Thank you.
Not hear these people's problems. I mean, I don't know what the hurry is. They've been suffering for a really long time. I would ask that you read the room before I get started, but I guess I am started. I first want to talk about smiles. She said that she saw a lot of smiles, and the first thing I want to point out is you can't measure smiles in dollars, so that's probably why nobody really cared about the smiles, am I right? Yeah. Yeah. And now I want to talk about I'm just following orders. Historically, not so good. Okay, I want to get this out since I have limited time. On Thursday, I'm co-hosting an event right here in beautiful Roseville, California, which belongs to you, at the Acting Academy with a group called New California with one goal in mind. We want to hear the testimony of all of you beautiful families so we can hear which people in the school system have wronged or hurt your children. Because we're off the mask, we know that you aren't going to put them back on, so we're on to the next thing, which is accountability, okay? You stood with the governor and you hurt kids. It is possible for both things to happen. They're not mutually exclusive. It is possible for an enemy to be domestic. You should know that because I happen to know that each one of you probably raised your right hand, no you did, and you swore to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America when you took this position. Okay, so lastly, last paragraph now, please don't rush me off. Here it is, very quickly. Penal Code 273AB, you might be familiar, good sir, addresses less serious situations where a person either endangers the safety of a child or inflicts, causes, or permits unjustifiable pain or mental suffering to a child. The charge is filed whenever the safety or well-being of a child is endangered.
Thank you.
Sound about right?
Followed by Jeff Green.
The only way this is going to stop, the only way, is mass non-compliance.
Yes.
That's the only way. How many times times have we done this? A lot of you maybe have been here for the first time tonight. A lot of people have been here for 2 years. I have always told my kids, follow the rules. Do the right thing, follow the rules. I am now telling my children, if you don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a mask. We will deal with the consequences. It is the only way. No masks, no vaccines, no shots, none of it. This is where it starts. Tell them to stop wearing their masks.
Done.
Tell them to gather their friends and cause chaos in their school. I don't like it. For the teachers that don't want to, that are tired of this happening, I don't blame them. I have a child at Chilton Middle School. The principal told me the other day, my daughter was in the office because she didn't wear a mask. He says to me, I hope this ends. I hope they do the right thing. I want it to be over too. You need to take this to the board. I've been taking it to the board. He needs to be here at the board telling you how he really feels. Okay? God bless the teachers that have been here speaking out. Okay?
My name is Jeffrey Perrine. I'm a local resident. It infuriates me being here. It's starting to grow. I mean, I'm coming around to these school board meetings all around the community, and I'm seeing boards acting just like you guys, complacent. We have to do our job. You know, we can't stand up for the kids. There's this law. It's not a law. I mean, we can't repeat it enough. I've heard everyone in here saying the same thing. Mandate is not a law. You understand? There is law enforcement. There's no mandate enforcement except for you people, okay? This is where we have law enforcement officers for a reason, to protect and serve, correct? We elect officials to do what we ask them to do as a community. You have never seen groups of people coming in here consistently saying the same thing over and over and over like this, ever. If you don't pick up the common message that's being reiterated over and over and over, something's going on, okay? Someone needs to look at these group of people, these parents like me. I'm pissed. My child will never be told to wear a mask, suffocate themselves, so they can go to school and be indoctrinated by some crazy progressive, okay? This is very political. I'm starting to notice it's political. I don't ever hear anybody in any of these rooms go, man, my history teacher was telling me about civics, makes me wear a mask all day. No. It's the libtards, it's the progressives, and the psychopath Marxists in our schools and our school boards. Do something about it or we will.
Yes, we
It's been over 40 minutes. That is the end of public comment. The board is going to go back into closed session. In open session when we return. Thank you.
We have one doctor here that would like to speak. Thank you for coming out. I'm sorry that I didn't get a chance to speak to the board member, but they got your message loud and clear. So today I'm here to like to congratulate you, because I see the passion, I see the drive, I see the love that you have to take care of your kids and also defend our country. So I look out at every one of you. I can check your DNA. You have your ancestry are from Europe, from Italy, from Asia, but nowhere will your DNA shows that you are American. Being American is an idea. It's an idea that we're take freedom seriously, we love our democracy, and we'll fight for those people that cannot fight for themselves.
Yeah.
And that's every single one of you, because you're American. So I'm the only physician in this country that's dedicated to fight for your medical freedom. Why is that? Because I have that American blood in me. I am here to fight for those people that cannot fight for themselves. I'm going to share with you the truth about COVID, not myth. In the past 2 years, we have treated more than 2,000 COVID patients successfully, 100% survival rate. Without a mask. I'm still here. We're the first office I identified Omicron in early December before there's even such a thing. Because we're working at the front line, we are not afraid. I am American, I am not afraid. I'm here to advocate for every one of your health.
It's good.
But the teacher, many of the school board members, not every teacher, but majority of them have given up on your children. Majority of the physician has given up on you. If you're sick with COVID, you're asked to stay home and suffer. Imagine if you're sick with strep throat, they ask you to stay home and suffer until you cannot swallow, until you cannot breathe. Then come to us and come to emergency and maybe we can help you. Then we will have a pandemic of strep throat, and there'll be a lot of people suffering and dying as a result. This is not a pandemic of the unmasked. This is not a pandemic of the unvaccinated. This is a pandemic of stupidity.
Yeah, it's good. Absolutely.
This is a pandemic of the untreated. So in the past week, Ashley and I, we have treated more than 100 kids from your family, from your school. 80% of the kids that we saw, younger than from 8 years old and younger, have speech impediment as a result of wearing masks.
Yeah.
I grew up in Taiwan, I grew up in the country. When I first attended kindergarten, I couldn't read a clock. Everyone was laughing at me, and they were saying, am I retarded? Am I stupid? I understand how that feels. I understood that pain, saying that I'm not smart. All the little boy, beautiful little boy I saw that you brought to me, I saw the pain in their eyes. That they can't pronounce their friend's name. They can't understand. Because in the past 2 years, the governor and the school are hurting your children. 100% of the kids I saw in the past week, 100% suffer from headache, shortness of breath, anxiety, depression. 100% of them.
Disgusting.
Imagine if you take your children to anywhere, and they come home, they cry, they're suffering, they got headache, they have CO2 poisoning, how would you feel about it?
Child abuse. I kill them.
I lost count how many times last week I cried. I cried for your children. I lost count. Okay. I just want to let you know how proud I am of the officer that's sitting here with us. That's fighting for every one of you. Running for assemblyman. We need more. Okay.
Maybe for school board, wink, wink.
We invited him so many times and he never showed up, but we're so glad he's here tonight. Oh, thank you, Jonathan. This is Jason Paletta, everybody!
care to speak your mind. Because every time that you get to speak our mind, we ensure our democracy is alive and well. None of us have the claim to absolute truth. None of us. We should not let these socialistic practices continue. Because you don't know what I am. As many of you gracefully shared and demonstrated, if we allow these things to continue, soon, even the people here that don't care about your children, they will be the next target.
All on the same line.
My grandparents fought the Japanese during World War II, and the communist Chinese. America, your volunteer fighters, went over to China with the Flying Tigers and fought the Japanese with us and sacrificed and died in the strangers. Why is that? Because we're Americans. We love our democracy. Now I encourage every one of you to continue with the fight. Do not give up. And I feel right here, and I feel proud to stand with everyone.
Hi, everybody. I don't typically speak at school board meetings. I have attended quite a few, but I usually go to the Placer County Board of Supervisors. And the reason I feel that it's necessary to speak today is because I have your undivided attention. And I think that the masks are just the tip of the iceberg. 100%. I really appreciate everybody showing up because that has been the hardest thing, is to get people engaged, because once you know better, you have to actually take action, right? So I'm going to read something to you. It's probably going to be quite alarming, but this is what is coming. Has any of you heard of AB 2539? It says, this bill will require a public or private entity that requires a member of the public to provide documentation regarding the individual's vaccination status for any COVID-19 vaccine as a condition of receipt of any service or entrance to any place to accept a written medical record or government-issued digital medical record in satisfaction of the condition as specified. There is what's called your social credit system, and it's going to be implemented, and the reason that they are starting with the masks is to see how hard you will fight. You don't need to ask for permission. This is what's called arbitrary power. They don't have the power over your free will. They cannot tell you that they have to send your kids home from school. Every child has a right to education. Everything stops when we say no and we stop complying. We are living through the playbook that our ancestors lived through. If you look at the Spanish flu, if you look at the Holocaust, we are living through an experiment that we never thought we would live through, because that was in the history books. So now we have the opportunity to write our own history. And the only way to do that is to finally stand up, get off of your knees, pray to God, stop giving people like this power. We don't need to ask for permission. You don't need to stop going to the grocery store because you don't want to wear a mask. I was denied medical treatment because I decided I don't wear a mask.
My son did too.
So you're going to be denied medical treatments. You're going to be denied your basic rights to food, water, your housing. This is all by design, and it's being implemented through the American Rescue Plan. Every single school board, every single board of supervisors, city council, and all your state legislatures took money from the American Rescue Plan, so they signed that contract selling our country out from underneath the bus. And they're using our children to hold us hostage. So it's time that you show up to the Board of Supervisors because they're sitting on the line of, well, we're just doing what we're told. Where have we heard that before? I'm just doing my job as the ovens turn on. So this is something that has to happen now or forever hold your peace, because we are at a precipice where if we don't take a stand and stop asking for permission, we're done. We're not fighting to stop what's already happened. We're fighting to get our freedoms back. They have been gone for a very long time. The mask is just a distraction. What's coming is going to be a lot worse.
Look at Canada.
So buckle up, because Canada is just what they're calling a dry run. Because we are the last nation that has weapons and armor and guns that we can use. We have the Second Amendment, and they're going for that as we speak. They're trying to eradicate our Constitution because that's really all we have left. We are really only free on paper. So I want to thank this woman here who filed a lawsuit against me. The only way to hold these people accountable is on paper. Do it in writing. I know you say emails don't work, but they do, because guess what? They can't say they didn't know, and they can run, but they cannot hide from accountability. Once it's on paper, it's real. They have to investigate it. They have to look into it. File your uniform complaints. They hate the uniform complaints. Why? Because they're public record. Every school has what's called a uniform complaint. They have to tell you about it at these school board meetings. You go on the district website, you print it out, you fill it out, you send it in, and if they find that they have violated educational codes or child abuse, they have to investigate it. It goes to the Department of Education, the Department of Justice. These people are mandated reporters. A mandated reporter, not only do they take an oath, but it is their obligation to, if they see anything going on with anybody in regards to child abuse, they have to report it. So for them not to report it, that is just they're already violating. They are criminals. So put everything in writing. Email people. If you have a phone call, follow up with an email, including your employer. Hold your employers accountable, because the way they're implementing all of this is through the schools, through your work, because they're saying, well, it's a private entity, a private company, they can do whatever they want. Bull. Segregation, discrimination, intimidation, and harassment are violations of the law. There are CalGENA laws in place. Did you know that what you're doing by testing is you're actually giving your DNA to these people, because they have to have a full spectrum biometric database of you to be able to implement the social crediting system? They already have your full AI profile, so why not hand over your DNA? Read the fine print, put everything in writing, and most importantly, show up, speak out, because this is going to happen real quick.
Placer County Board of Supervisors.
Tomorrow at 9 a.m. is the Placer County Board of Supervisors, and I can tell you, they will sit there and tell you there's no mandate in Placer County. But I can also tell you, they took the American Rescue Plan money, they're implementing permanent resident housing for homeless in Roseville, Tahoe, and Auburn, which is going to put a strain on our law enforcement, because who's going to be surveilling the facilities? Who's going to be running the facilities? Your money is going to be running those facilities.
Absolutely. Our local
not their money.
$700,000 house is one.
Yeah.
Right now.
So I don't know if you've all ever heard, the folk president say, "You will own nothing and you will be happy." They are right now taking everything away from us, and they're doing it with our own money. So please show up to the Board of Supervisors. Let them know.
Real quick, if this doesn't go our way, tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. in front of Ike, all of us show up. show up next, because together we fight.
There's a protest February 28th at the Galleria Mall.
Galleria,
February 28th.
February 28th is the Galleria Mall.
All the classes. All the classes.
All the kids need to, and our kids need to be talking to other kids, because we can't get into schools.
Yeah, they're gonna walk around the mall, right? Oh, yeah, all the kids.
I don't know, but I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it
be
is,
there.
28, from 9 to
I'm
11.
gonna be there. So tomorrow morning, if this resolution, and we're not settling, it is no strings attached. Not if you test every day, or if you decide to put plexiglass on your face. It is, if it doesn't go our way, we need to, the momentum, whatever started the momentum, because I've heard for 2 years, Green, if you could, I'm like, yeah, Cass, I'll be there. Now I've made the time. The ball is rolling. If we stop now, then they get their talents in us, and then we're done.
If we do Tuesday, I say Kaysburg and right in front of this thing on Wednesday.
Did you hear that? We've already started the motion for Ike, otherwise I change it now. But Ike, 8 a.m., there's two sides, it's a weird campus. It's the 8th grade side, it's one way in and one way out, so show up at 7:45.
Can we hit Segment Farm Elementary? We've been protesting them twice a day. In morning before school and afternoon. 8:20 every morning, 3 p.m. every afternoon.
Plan our days out that way, because our kids don't want to wear masks, and they're going to be put in on-campus suspension. They're being segregated.
Our kids are already going unmasked. There's a communication that we're not doing it.
Why don't you all just call everybody in your school and tell them to send their children to school without masks, that they already passed it, that there is no mandate anymore.
Before that, the way that I'm finding out about all of this information, if you're on Facebook, yes? You all have access to Facebook.
No.
Moms for Liberty. Moms for Liberty and NorCal Alliance all have updated, current, present updates. You can get it all. I know that there are women who are home like me. I don't know how you do it when you work. So more power to you. Here's one. She's my ball caller right here.
Okay, so my son goes to Wood Creek, and so when they passed math choice for the high school district, I don't know if you guys know Vicki and Chris. They're not here tonight.
I know.
Okay.
Sorry.
So they were there in front of Wood Creek High School with American flags, and I thought that was awesome because their job was to tell everyone, because there was only 20 kids out of 10,000 kids in that district that spoke that night. So they were there to tell the kids at Wood Creek, guess what, you don't have to wear a mask. And my son goes there and he said, Mom, barely anybody took their mask off because they thought it was a rumor. So what if we all show up at your kid's school with American flags at the entrance and say, guess what, you don't have to wear a mask. And we do that every day until more and more kids stop wearing the mask. Like she
Don't
said,
ask for
they're going to
permission.
believe whatever you tell them.
Just do it.
So that's my idea.
Hey, yeah, you know what? Hey guys, did anybody hear me mention the Acting Academy Thursday at 7? Where are my military veterans at? Where are my military veterans? Not many of us are, not many. Here's the deal. If you're in the military, you understand this. If you're lined up with your buds, and one of you gets picked off, the war becomes much more real. The problem is, none of them, politically speaking, for you and the FBI, have been picked off. They're all comfortable. The point of my meeting Thursday night is for you next levelers, the doers. I'm done emailing. I don't email. That's not what I do. I was recently trespassed. It's my 43 is my first ever infraction. Because I was holding a principal accountable, and what I told him was, sir, I have heard enough to know, unequivocally, you are in deep. So Thursday, what's going to happen? I partner with New California. Your signature carries weight. Someone just said that. You can talk your blue in the face here. Your signature carries weight. And I can't get too much into it. But we are looking to find the worst. If you've got stories of true suffering by your children, that's why we want you there. We want to hear about it. I have partnered with people who already have declarations in place. Earmuffs, please. Officer, I'm kidding. But the deal is, we are looking to make these guys watch one of their buddies get pressed charges on. All right, that's what we're here to do. And when we do that, nothing you can say at a podium makes it more real than somebody facing criminal charges for what they've done to a child. There is nothing more scary than that. Most of the people who face them, they just resign. Yes, ma'am.
Does it have to be something that happens in this county? Like in Canada, I've been following around the convoy, and boy tried to commit suicide last week because of the mask.
I understand, yes, for now. I want Placer County folks at Acton on Thursday at 7 for now. All right? We'll get to Canada in a couple days after that. I'm kidding, we'll light a beacon of hope.
Just file the uniform complaint. That's
But it's going to work. I'm inviting you to jump on board that train. I'm telling you with complete confidence, you'll see. But the kids are more important than me, obviously. So.
This is my oldest daughter. Both of my girls they attend Fittiman Farm Elementary. And for the past 2 years, as many of you know, and all your children, they have suffered great tragedies for no reason. At the beginning, we were like most. We put on a little bit of mask there for just a brief moment. We didn't know what was going on. We woke up, pulled our heads out of the sand, said, okay, enough's enough. And, I don't know what she has on her heart that she wants to say. I'm hoping she'll pour it out. But what their schools are doing is not okay. They stopped wearing their masks. All three of these young ladies and some other faces, like I said, in the room that attend there, they all stopped wearing their masks last week. They were segregated. I kind of lost it there for a minute on that. But then, we came back together with the parents and said, all right, well, they're going to segregate them, then we're going to hope to get so many kids in there that they don't know what to do with them. And now the class has grown from 6 kids on the first day to 32 kids on Friday. We are protesting every morning. Don't be shy. All these people are ready to listen. We're here for you, girl.
We're here.
The most important is that you want to say. Don't be shy.
You got this, Kendall. Their smiles says it all.
Right, and the other day, at the end of when we were out there protesting at the end of the school, there was a bunch of parents there that we weren't familiar with each other. We were out there, and I turned to one of the other parents and I was saying, look at this beautiful sight. Half of us don't know each other. There was not a frown in the crowd. Everyone was smiling. All of our children are laughing and playing. This is how our children should be acting and behaving. This is what's on. Now, luckily for my kids, like I said, it was a very brief moment. So they've never gotten used to wearing the mask. But it is unfortunate because there are some children who their parents agree, and they're like, yeah, we want to be done with them. And at this point, their children are intimidated to take the mask off, which is very sad. When that child's at home and playing with their friends where they're comfortable, there's no mask in sight. There's no thought of a mask. I can tell you after 1 week, not even a full week, it was Tuesday through Friday, of my children being in the, freedom class, as I like to call it, they were telling me, we're getting our work done better. We're not tired at the end of the day. They're not coming home like we need a nap. They're coming home, they're ready to protest because they want to be free, and they're ready to hit the park with all their friends. Before it was like, oh, I need a nap. Why? Because they're not getting oxygen 80% of the day, Anyway, I didn't really have a plan. My daughter said she wanted, so that's what we have. We love all you guys. We hope to see you. Please bring a friend next time. We cannot let up on them. We cannot let up. We got the pressure on their throat. Don't let up now. Now's not the time to give back. Another mom said it. They'll sink the things in and it'll